It looks like it may be a position for Puck as well, but never mind. It will be the Shadow Demon coming out from Zephyr. So now you have the disruption there, so at least you could waste basically most of the chrono time if you do get it off on the Void. Adroit though, how do they respond to this? And more so, how are they going to take advantage of that Vengeful Aura, which we're all kind of waiting for at this point?
Hmm. I really like the Shadow Demon pick. Again, as you mentioned, it fits into this lineup quite well. Gives you a lot of value at that Razor. Makes it so much easier to link onto someone for a longer time. Just allows you to really maximize his kit. So I do like that coming out there. Yeah, as you mentioned, we have to find out what exactly they want to do with it. I mean, even if you don't play off that aura, you are gonna have a good time. The hero's just in a very good spot right now, which is great. I do love me a good support Venge. Wasn't really a big fan of core Venge. They go with a Centaur, so they've got a great way to engage and disengage, a great way to consistently break off that static link. And I think that really fixes up one of the major issues in this draft was that in case Void would just jump in and have his time walk on cooldown, you have the Centaur now who can basically pop that ult and have Void just kind of bail out. Things go dicey.
Yeah, absolutely. Geek fam though, fourth pickup for them now. They aren't going to think too heavily. In fact, they're going for the Beastmaster, and I like this pickup. It's one of those heroes that's very hard to deal with. Of course, the Roar is very effective for the Void while he's in that chrono. You can only really stop that with the Lincolns. And they haven't really got a way to purge that stun off on the side of Adroit. Not right now, anyway. I wonder, though, John, what is Adroit ending with? Right? Like, are we seeing an OD pop out? Are we seeing a TA or something like that? Like, it's got to be some kind of ranged core in the mid lane to take full advantage of that Vengeful Spirit. And of course, in conjunction with the Chrono, it can be quite devastating. But I thought the OD would be pretty decent in this matchup.
Yeah, there's a lot of value in that OD. You basically melt every single hero except really the Puck. So you're going to have a good time there. You do have ways of kind of just stopping the Razor as well. If you stack with links anyone, just imprison them, run away, and the link's gone. So you have a lot that you can really just give to your team there in terms of utility. And, it works outside of Chrono, as you mentioned, so you have a lot of value with that kind of pick. I think the laning phase is where you could see it a bit wonky, although, again, with what looks to be a support puck, mid lane, Razor against OD, is actually not too bad. You have ways of playing around it. I'd say it really depends on the player. For the most part, like we have seen that go either way before. Surprisingly enough, you would reckon it's actually a bit more Razor favored, but it can go either way. So we'll see exactly what Adroit does do. If Geek Fam doesn't ban it out, I'm pretty sure we're going to see it down mid. Although, frankly, we haven't seen too much OD today, have we?
We have not. In fact, I don't believe we've seen it once. I think we might have seen it once yesterday, but it hasn't really been popping out very much. Where's the Zeus ban coming out? Okay, fair enough. I wouldn't have expected that coming out from Adroit. And they go for the Naga Siren. I mean, that's, to me, pretty underwhelming. I'm not sure what the game plan is with that. I guess the song into the Chrono's nice. You could just stop the Void from doing anything. The song with the static link is always good. There's still a hell of a lot of damage. Adroit, though, how do you respond to this?
OD. I think OD is still pretty solid here. Melts right through those illusions, melts right through Naga. If you want to go, they go with Lesh, which is fair enough. It still melts the illusions as well. And lets you melt towers a bit better. You have great impact. Even if you're stuck inside that chronosphere, as long as you turned on your spell, you're going to be fine. So I see a lot of value with Adroit going for that Lesh instead. It's a safer pick, mainly because we haven't seen the OD pop in too much. The Lesh is just much more stable. It is interesting to see Geek Fam fall back to the Naga Siren. She really didn't change too much. I think she actually got a couple of nerfs overall, let's say in Agi gain and in her. Well, now the talent is a bit better. Like level 20 is minus 9 seconds on Ensnare, but her Agi gain does drop to 3.5 from 3.7 per level. So she's just been slightly tweaked. Gonna be interesting to see whether or not her overall playstyle still suits this meta, especially since Adroit is going to be looking to keep it aggressive. We tend to see that with every time the Void's out, it actually doesn't farm as much as you'd expect. It looks for fights every 160 seconds past level 6, because that's the cooldown for Chronosphere. So that's the timer. 160 seconds chrono, go back to farming, rinse and repeat. The Nagasarian tends to be a bit more static than that. It's farm until maybe you have a Diffusal and Yasha. At least before that's the tendency, then run down the supports. So we'll see which one really starts to pick up here. Geek Fam does look quite potent. I do like this draft a lot more this time. It is counteracting that Void much more than their last draft was counteracting the Drow. So you've got to watch out if you're Natsumi. You have to make sure Cuckoo's far away or Sephir's far away when you're jumping into these fights, because if they're not far away, or if you're right there and you don't catch them in the Chronosphere, you are going to have a very bad time in that Chrono.
Fair point. Going to be an interesting matchup to say the least. Adroit versus Geek Fam, game number 2. Of course, TNC would be sitting there watching right now, very nervous as to what the outcome of this game is going to be. But we'll get it started.
Prepare for battle.
It looks like they may run another tri-lane with Bok this time around, so Adroit looking to try and shut down the safe lane of Geek Fam once again. Raven, I'm sure he doesn't want to experience that anymore. We'll see where they lane this Naga Siren.
Have a little humility.
Looks like he will be going up to the safe lane again. If they do run a tri-lane, I don't know if Raven's going to really be able to catch up. He really struggled last time around, and Naga Siren's another one of those heroes where if you have a bad start, it just seems like you farm forever and you really never get anywhere.
Yeah, we have seen that multiple times before, of course. It's just the classic Naga Siren story when it does happen. But I feel like when you have a player like Raven and, you have the timings he hits, have the playstyle he has, you can certainly make it work. You're just going to look out for the timing on the Diffusal and Yasha. And from there, you should be able to at least hunt down the supports, play in the opposing jungle much freer. That's the tendency we see with successful Naga Sirens. I wouldn't be too surprised if that's what Raven will opt to do here.
Well, 2 banner runes for either side. A very even start between these two. Once again, looks like Natsumi for now has been left by himself on the Void, so they have some confidence that he will be able to keep his farm up. So not going to be very easy up against the Beastmaster of Cuckoo. Beastmaster kind of famous for making it extremely hard to get in range to get those last hits. Of course, he can just abuse those balls to get those denies off very easily as well. Still, it does look like they are rotating down CML, so they aren't going to keep this tri-lane up, which will allow Raven to actually get some farm up on this Naga Siren. Bok will, of course, try to shut it down a bit, but I don't know how effective he can be against the Naga. Of course, up in the mid lane, we'll see Ryoya up against Mac on the Lesh. Ryoya had a pretty good laning stage last time. See if you can replicate that performance this time around. Should be a little bit harder up against Mac on this Lesh. I mean, it's just a completely different kind of matchup. Interesting thing to note as well, Mac has actually gone for the Lightning Storm build, and that's something we haven't seen in a very, very long time.
Yeah, it's definitely fallen out of favor, especially when you compare it to the Diabolic Edict Split Earth build. I think there is still some value in it. It does allow you to secure safer farm from afar, and you really don't want to go too close to a Razor. So it does feel like Mac is just playing it safe, making sure that he's not leaving himself open to any sort of bad times in lane.
is certainly allowing him to free farm this mid lane for now. He's 7 last hits, 5 denies. It's going to be very annoying for the Razor to keep copying these lightning strikes as well. Ryoya will grab a bit of an Invis rune, trying to go for a quick static link. Will only be 23 damage, but it still definitely helps out the cause. Well, bot. Natsumi farming decently, but Cuckoo is trading very well as well. Neither side really going at it with each other too much. Geek fam, they don't really have much kill potential with this combination of the Shadow Demon and Beastmaster. Not against the Void anyway, so they'll probably just sit back, try and get those denies off and just keep farming up. I suppose Zephyr could get some kills with the Shadow Poison stacks, but still not going to be very easy up against that Void.
Yeah, it's just going to be a pretty much a farming lane here from both sides, unless there's a massive misstep, but I don't think you're going to be expecting that too much. Easiest target is going to be Zephyr. Still, both sides just playing it safe so far. 3 minutes in, no first blood just yet.
Well, Dubu, it does get pretty low. Boomy gets pretty low himself, but neither one really commits. Meanwhile, though, Raven is farming very well on the Naga Siren. 15 last hits, 2 denies. And speaking of, we do have the first blood at bot lane where CML does go down to Zephyr. The moment I look away, looks like it was the disruption and shadow poisons, and of course, the ball slow from the Beastmaster that got the job done. And Dubu, we'll see, he does give his life away to the neutral creeps, just wants to deny himself off. But what I was trying to say, John, is Raven is farming well this time around in this Naga Siren.
Yeah, definitely a better time for him this time around. You're not seeing that massive pressure coming out from Adroit to keep him down. He's having better time for sure. He's still not slowing down the opposing team too much. I mean, Bach is slightly ahead in terms of last hits by just a bit.
Zephyr now going down at the bot lane. Natsumi picks up that kill. Apparently there are going to be a lot of kills in this bot lane, so we'll keep an eye on it. Cuckoo now going to be chased down as well, but CML won't throw out the stun. Natsumi, though, would love to get some lucky bashes going for himself, but isn't quite getting there. In fact, he's copying a fair bit of harassment from Cuckoo. Looks like CML, though, going to be chased down by Zephyr. Zephyr should be able to snag this bounty away from CML, but instead it looks like it will be denied off, and CML is going to cop a fair bit of damage from the Shadow Poisons. Not enough to kill, though. Speaking of a lot of damage, Cuckoo does deal a lot towards Natsumi, who only has 1 tango left to keep himself in this lane, but it looks like they will head off to the shrine instead.
Yeah, it's fair enough. I mean, you know, your mid laner is probably going to complain about that for a bit, although I think they did pop the top shrine anyway, so he's already had his refill. Not going to be too upset about that.
You look at Cuckoo's farm right now, 29 and 13. The man's having a fantastic time with this Beastmaster. They will try to stun him up with that magic missile, but you don't really have the damage output there yet. So Cuckoo will be able to just maintain this lead in this lane. Natsumi farming okay with 22 and 3. These Beastmasters getting a bit too much can be a bit scary later on. Still though, looking back up to that top lane, Bok, he's been having a great old time with the Centaur. Raven though is at 32 and 5, so he's having an even better time. And Bok trying his best to just trade farm. It's just not much he can do to slow Raven down. Looks like Boomy will come back in, throws the Fade Bolt out, but it won't really lead to anything. So bot lane, CML going to end up going down to Zephyr once again. Mac will rotate over though on the Lash. And they are going to chase Zephyr down a bit. Mac pretty low on mana though, but it will not matter as Zephyr is even lower in HP. He tries to find Natsumi. He won't get so lucky, but Dubu will be able to jump in there and clean up the kill.
Yeah, that's overall a bit of a win for Geek Fam. They do slow down that Faceless Void once more. They are finding just a bit of a better trade there. Again, just keeping this Void in check is going to hurt him a lot. Like, once he hits 6, he has to be successful with his first chrono to really start building up, but Natsumi just doesn't have much to play with right now.
Cuckoo gonna start diving after Bok, who just TP'd into the bot lane. See Boomy rotate over as well. Now, well, there's the disruption coming out. There'll still be no Roar available. In fact, there is on Cuckoo, but he won't commit it yet. Well, maybe they won't even need it, but no, there it is. The Roar comes out. The damage is there from Zephyr, and they find the kill. And now Boomy as well going down to the bot lane. So 2 more kills going to the way of Geek fam, and they are going to be able to force down this T1 tower very, very early on.
Yeah, that's again a nice set of wins going for Geek fam. They pretty much are just finding every single thing they want. While they force out all these fights, they continuously buy space for Raven to get their farm up, inching closer towards that Yasha now. And once that's up, it's just a bit of a ride towards that Diffusal. And then Nagasaran just kind of gets silly. You start hunting down supports, you just start melting these squishery heroes, and you snowball from there.
Yeah, but John, Adroit, they have a mango tree up. That is a very scary tree to have. Boomy, bot lane, going down, or almost going down. There will be a hoof stomp there onto Cuckoo. They do find Boomy in the end. Zephyr will be the one to pick up the kill. It looks like Cuckoo should be able to get out of here rather safely. Mac even rotating in to try and get this Beastmaster, the Cuckoo. Now he's a bit trapped up, gets slowed down, and the Pulse Nova will just tick him out. Zephyr, he will be able to get out on the Shadow Demon, but they lost that one core that they had at the bot lane, and that's not what they wanted on the side of Geek fam.
Definitely not. It is a bit of a loss, but again, you are forcing responses around the map, which does free up other parts of the map for everyone else to farm. Like, Dubu now has some space to try to hit his level 6, try to get some gold going for himself, and slowly build up as well.
Bok now being chased down by Ryoya. Won't lead to a kill though. The top lane looks like they will find Natsumi on the Void. Dubu was able to get the silence off, and Raven just cleaned up with the mirror images. You see the rotations now coming up top. They want to try and at least force down that T1 and perhaps apply some pressure to Raven on the Naga Siren. Raven, though, will just rotate back into the jungle. He won't really mind too much. He can farm this jungle very quickly with that Riptide and the illusions. And now a Stampede coming out to save CML on the Vengeful Spirit down at bot lane.
Yeah, I guess if you're not planning on using that spell anytime soon, well, you might as well use it to save your support.
Why not?
I suppose.
They won't have it for the team fight that's about to happen up top, though. Which could be concerning, but they'll clean up the T1. Disruption will be there from Zephyr. They're still moving forward, but here comes Ryoya. Dream Call now is there as well. That's a lot of damage coming out from Dubu. They've got Boomy on the Rubik, and Bok, he's so close to going down, but he tries to go after the Razor. It will not work out for them. And that Stampede would have been pretty darn good at that moment. In fact, they may even find more on the side of Geek Cam as they do get CML on the Venge. It's a 3-for-0 situation there for Geek Fam. Adroit, they do find the T1. Was it necessary to lose 3 heroes? I don't believe so.
No, definitely not. It's a very different game compared to game 1 here for Adroit. 3-10, a 1k lead for Geek Fam at 11 minutes in. It's looking a bit rough for Adroit. They've certainly got to start finding stuff off the map. They've got to make use of his Chronosphere, but it looks like Natsumi is going to wait out until he grabs a Maelstrom first before going to commit that spell.
Cuckoo gonna get lifted up by Boomy. It won't be long enough, but Natsumi does have a Chrono available up at that top lane if he wants to commit it. He still holds on to it though. Cuckoo is fairly tanky as well. They'll commit the Stampede. Natsumi, he will end up committing that Chrono. They should have the damage output here to take Cuckoo out, and it looks like they do. Still though, there are Ryoya rotating back in, going after Boomy. Hoof Stomp will be there though. Here comes Dubu with the Dream Core straight onto the Void. That's the main target they want to go for. And with that Dream Core, he can't really time walk out. That's going to be well worth it for the side of Geek Fam. In fact, they may find more in the form of CML thanks to Zephyr. And Boomy is a sitting duck right now on the Rubik, and he's gone as well. A 3-for-1 trade. Geek Fam finding the better trade once again.
Yeah, they're really just working these fights to their favor quite well. I mean, Zephyr was just chasing around at Venge all by himself. Just using that ult, forcing out the swaps, dropping 5 Shadow Poison stacks, and, you know, that killed literally any support at this point in the game. So that did take away the Venge from that last fight as well, which meant you didn't have the swap, you didn't have the stun, and that just costed them that exchange. So Geek Fam, they're finding the right spots to be in at the right time, and they are certainly working this map much better than Adroit is right now. That was the first Chrono we have seen as well, if I recall right. So at the very least, Natsumi does manage to get that spell out. Still not the most maximally effective use of that spell, but hey, a kill's a kill.
This Mango Tree just remains standing, by the way, John, on the high ground of the Radiant. I'm kind of surprised with the positioning of this tree. I thought they would have maybe gone for that Roshan, the whole Roshan tree, but I suppose this one still gives you the vision over the Roshan entrance.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you vision on that entrance. More importantly, it gives you a lot more vision as to whether or not you're going to be ganked up. So it does have a lot of utility there. And that's a lot of mangoes that was on the courier, so man, that kind of makes me hungry.
Mac will finish off his Yules now on the Leshrac. Geek Fam, though, have smoked up. Looks like they do understand where Bok is. They're going to make their way straight to him. They've got the Roar available as well. So this should be a very, very easy kill to take. He commits the Stampede, but the Dream Core from Dubu is way too quick. And he has help coming in, but it's not going to be quick enough as Mac. He does not want to be there right now. They lose Bok and they lose Mac. Adroit falling apart in this game number 2 as Geek Fam now have a 4k net worth lead. They have both outposts, I believe, and we are about to hit that 15-minute mark. So all the XP and all the gold will go Geek Fam's way.
Yeah, that's a massive swing going the way of Geek Fam. Just gives them a lot more to work with. Again, slowing down Adroit's progression, slowing down just how much Adroit can fight back with. And the aggression's not over. They're playing on the opposite side of the map here. Down the bot lane, Raven and BB just getting control up onto Natsumi.
Oh, they got the silence off. Raven may have to commit the song, and does. He just wants to get out of here safely. It's exactly what he does do. Just annoy Natsumi a bit and just go straight back to farming for Raven. Cuckoo, meanwhile, looks like he is starting to set up on another target, which is Boomy, but Boomy is already out of there. And meanwhile, Dubu, in a peculiar situation down at the bot lane. Looks like he may just go for a quick creep skip, creep skip, and then just TP out of there. I don't know why I couldn't say that. Or maybe not. He's... There we go.
Well, Raven's got passive gold now, although I'm sure he's going to have to pass that off to someone. Philosopher's Stone.
I mean, he already has. Who's it been given to?
Zephyr.
Yeah, Zephyr has it in the backpack though. Doesn't care for it yet, but now he'll put it in, replace the Observer Ward that you have. Meanwhile, Adroit, I mean, they're sticking as a team, but when you've got a Leshrac, you want to push down those lanes very, very quickly, and that's not exactly what's been happening. As well as that, the farm on the Void Natsumi hasn't been anything to write home about. In fact, they do jump him. Dream Call, but an immediate chrono. He still can't run away, but he's just kind of running up and down right now. Still a nice swap, but he does go down regardless. Now they roar up another in the form of Dubu going down. Max been lost as well. Bok trying to control up the backlines of Geek Fam, but it will not matter as Ryoya is going to be on an ultra kill on the Razor. It's complete domination from Geek Fam. They are not struggling whatsoever in these engagements at all.
Yeah, it's in stark contrast to that first game where it was a bit of a rough time for them. This time they've got the reins on this match. They understand what they have to do, and they're doing it right. You know, you have Ryoya, 10-0 right now. He's in a really good spot. And he's just been on fire on his hero. Just getting the right targets every single time. A much better story than game one. Adroit, they've got to find something here. They've got to have Natsumi land those bigger chronos. I mean, that last chrono was pretty okay, but he couldn't do anything in it. There was just nothing he could do. And it just kind of costs you, because that's another 160 seconds where you don't have that spell. And that's a moment when Geek Fam can just run around doing whatever they want.
Again, they take control of those outposts. Cuckoo, has he found a target? Oh, he saw Boomy, but he won't be in range for the roar. Nevertheless, they will go ahead, take the T1 tower. And just really surgical here from Geek Fam. It just seems like it's going to be very, very hard for Adroit to catch up at this rate. And Natsumi just finding himself so far behind on that Void. And to make matters worse, now you've got a Nagasara with a Diffusal, and it looks like they're going to lose Bok as well.
Oh, yeah.
Though Zephyr does go down up at the top lane, so Mac does find a support pick-off. Still not the kill they really would have wanted to trade off for their Centaur.
Yeah, I mean, we're at that point with Ravenwood. He's got his Manta style, he's got his Diffusal. And that's it. He just does Naga things now. So, he's going to be able to melt a lot of heroes by himself if there's no backup. And you really have to watch out for where Raven decides to go. They're going to get a push going on that tier 2 down bot. The fort does come out. So that should force them back, but I don't think that tower has too much life in it left if Raven's going to be hanging around down here.
Well, it looks like the rest of Geek Fam are coming down as well. Cuckoo will slowly chip away at it. It's a very easy tier 2 to be taken. They won't commit for any more though. They'll go back to farming, I'm sure, as Raven has queued up a heart. And once that heart's up, I don't see any way to kill off this Naga Siren. That's going to be a pretty big concern for Adroit. Natsumi is still desperately trying to get that farm up, but his next item appears to be a BKB. That's not exactly the DPS item you would hope for this Void.
Definitely not. He does need a way of getting control back in these fights, so I can't blame him for going for that BKB. I'm not sure if that's going to be doing enough, especially since Geek Fam is just going to be going around playing aggressive now. So even if you do have that BKB, if you're caught out anyway, it really doesn't matter.
We'll have a pause coming out. Bok experiencing some connection issues. Ryoya looks like he's going for the butterfly up next. So feeling like he can just afford to just go straight butterfly, and I feel like that is true. He probably could just do so. Getting pretty close to the Eagle Song as well. Raven has almost enough gold for the Reaver now, just about 100 gold away. And Adroit, I mean, they've just got to play the delay game at this rate. Nothing else they could really do about this game.
Pretty much. Like, if they hold out, they could get big enough on Natsumi to try to fight back the opposing team. I just don't know if he's going to get enough time. He's level 14 right now. Compare that to Raven at 17. Compare that to Ryoya at 18. It's just such a massive gap in what their skills can do for them at this point in the game.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Going after that mid tier 2 now, just a bit of chip damage from the creep waves. Ryoya is setting up for it though by taking out this creep wave from the Radiant side. It's like Dubu's just going straight into an Aghanim Scepter on the puck. It's going to make their life so much harder. Raven. Fizzed up. Could go for a big song here if he really wants.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Will opt to not do anything. Rather just go back to farming in the jungle.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Have a look at that win probability, and well, 87% the way of Geek fam so far. Has been climbing slightly up for Adroit as time goes on. Net worth has pretty much been their way the whole time, and as you can see, the XP is heavily their way as well. Pretty big difference in the levels as you pointed out before. There's just no way that Adroit can try and force a team fight right now.
Yeah, they've just got to take it slow, try to get some farm up, and hope you can try to find a pick-off on Geek fam. It's just so hard to get that done. While they try to play this farm game, Raven is just going to get bigger and bigger as well. He's just about 500 gold away from the heart now. And once that's up, I don't think you have the answer to this Naga Siren again. It's going to be way too tanky for what you have. Like, the Leshrac could try to melt, but I don't think you even have enough mana to burn down that Naga.
Got a Blink Dagger up on Zephyr now as well, so he's got nice ways of initiating into these team fights as that Shadow Demon if he needs to. Now a full heart is available on Raven. So he's sitting at 3.4k HP for now. Looks like he'll go for the butterfly next. There's just not much item progression at all on the side of Adroit, apart from maybe Natsumi, who does have the BKB up now. He will go for the Mjolnir next, and it looks like they actually want to try to go for a team fight now with the smoke. Problem is, they are going into this heart as well as a butterfly now on Ryoya. He just picked it up. This team fight may not work out very well for Adroit, as the rest of Geek fam are pretty much up at this top lane. Well, Cuckoo does get swapped in. They're trying to go for the Beastmaster first. He does get disrupted though, so he can get that roar off before he dies. There's the Chrono, but an immediate roar straight onto Natsumi, and the Chrono was not great anyway. Max life's been lost. Now they'll go after Bok on the Centaur. CML will be next, and it is just an absolute massacre. Natsumi, I couldn't have said it better myself. It's just a very, very awkward time for them to try and go for that team fight. That disruption there from Zephyr, saving Cuckoo long enough so he could wait out the Chrono and then go for the roar onto Natsumi. Adroit just could not get anything out of that.
It's a large part in it's a largely a draft issue as well, right? We talked about this from the drafting phase. They picked the Void and they left these options on the table. It was always going to be a hard time for Natsumi to land that perfect Chronosphere. They can't take 5v5s unless Geek fam really decides to clump up together. 5v5s will actually always favor Geek fam because Void won't be a hero once that Chrono is expended. He's just not much of a hero, so you lose out on a massive amount of that, and there's a health up.
Boomy. Gonna run away. Aghanim Scepter now gonna be up for the puck. Of course, the Aegis now gonna be available on the Naga Siren, and Raven will go ahead and take that mid-tier 2 tower. There is only one outer tower outstanding now. Geek Fam go ahead and clean that up as well. And they could just force the high ground. I think that's exactly what they'll probably do. They know the chrono's still down, and it is for another 50 seconds.
Yeah, you've got no way of stopping this kind of push coming out from Geek Fam. They've got all their spells up and ready to go. And Adroit still has to play the waiting game with Natsumi.
Well, they should have chrono up for the next high ground defense at the least, though.
Radiant's top tower is
Just trying to wait to see if somebody overextends down the high ground. They could just send Naga Illusion straight into the towers, though, as they do have a Shadow Demon. And it looks like that's exactly what they're planning to do, just slow play this with the illusions.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Luckily, Mac can clear them out with the Lesh. And it looks like Natsumi is in a bit of an awkward situation here. Does TP out in the dire side base. He was creep skipping to try and avoid this mid lane being pushed in. Won't be too effective though, as they have got another creep wave there. But they will just wait. You've even got the Mind Breaker now on Ryoya, so you've got that instant silence. As long as he gets that hit off onto the Void, you could force out the BKB very early on from Natsumi.
Yeah, it's rough right now for Adroit. He can't push outside their base. You're really just stuck here in the high ground clearing out these waves, which really slows down their farm rate. And you're looking at an 18k deficit, 7 to 24, 28 minutes in. They've got to find an opening somehow. But Geek Fam's just not giving them that opportunity.
They'll just
You have a
continue to
butterfly
starve
up
them out.
now.
Yeah, Butterfly up. That should be cue for Raven to start moving in with that Aegis. And I just don't see how you stop them. You've got two Butterflies on the side of Geek Fam, and Ags on the puck. I suppose we'll find out how they intend to. In fact, it looks like they have found a target in the form of the Rubik. Well, he's kind of stuck there for a while. He does break the link. It's going to be a very easy pick-off to start this high ground push. Buyback will be available, though, on Boomy. But that tier 3 is not going to last very long. And Raven will go ahead, basically take it out by himself. The fortification will be forced out. But Adroit, are you really going to try and take this team fight? Look at the damage being placed on Bok. CML forced to swap him out very early on. The buyback is there from Boomy, though. The side of Geek Fam don't really care right now. They've still got the Aegis on Raven to use. This should be at least one Rax being taken by Geek Fam, but they could probably go for more straight afterwards. Snare will be there on Boomy. Send the illusions in. And poor Boomy, he might actually die to these. Box forced to jump in and hoof stomp them up. Raven will clean up that bot Rax. Still holding onto the Aegis, still has the song. Absolutely no reason to back off for Geek Fam. They may opt to play it safe. And it looks like they are actually going to return and make sure they get all those bounty runes first.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Just no rush here from Geek Fam. They've got all the scaling in the world. They could just keep up. They're under no sort of time pressure here to end the game. Adroit, they're just being slowly starved away in their base. 24k net worth for Geek Fam. It's 31 minutes in, 7 to 25 now. And it's just Geek Fam's game to play. They're just taking their time. Trying to build up, trying to give themselves an easier time in that high ground. And Adroit is just never in position to try to get that big Chronosphere up. or push outside a base. They just don't have the chance to.
But even if you get that Chronosphere, I don't see the damage output.
Yeah, it's lacking. And like Natsumi is trying, but it's not quite there. He's been stuck in that BKB for a while. He does have his Hyperstone up, and I believe that is the Mjolnir. Yeah, so the Mjolnir is up, and that's great, but up against a Naga Siren with 3.6k HP and a Butterfly, it certainly doesn't feel like that's going to be enough.
Oh, Zephyr. Spamming Shadow Poists in that top lane. Nothing wrong with that, John. Just a 1 second cooldown.
That level 20 talent is sick.
Geek fam though, still slow playing this. The Aegis has expired. Raven may just wait out the next Roshan, but we're going to find that in about a minute and 15 when that does pop up. Double damage will be there for the Naga if she wishes to take it, and Raven will. It looks like Raven intends on getting a Scythe of Vice up next.
Just watching Suffer do that is kind of stupid. Oh god.
Well, they're never going to be able to push these lanes out.
No.
That's
And
for
that's
sure.
just one hero. That's just a support shoving it back in, by the way. Just the support. Perfectly fine. Look at that. Look at that. At that range. At that range, it's the range again, Mike. There's just no punishment for that.
Oh. I see no problems here, John.
Oh, well, we might find him.
Zephyr. Smoked up. They just need any kill they can get right now, but this could be bad for them. They lift him up. Splitter, they will find the kill. Geek Fam will not attempt to punish. And with that, they go immediately to try and take an outpost for themselves. They'll grab one, but look at Geek Fam. They're following up now. Adroit do spot them out. The Naga Illusions will give the vision. Now, how do you initiate into this? Ryoya, he'll get started, but he does get lifted up. Now, the Stampede. Who are you going after? Raven, he's already found Bok, although nice swap comes out from CML just in the nick of time. But Bok, he does manage to blink away. Meanwhile, Mac, he's been dream called up. No way out of this for the Leshrac, and he's gone. And it looks like Dubu is looking for more. Like Raven ends up finding CML as well. They do find another. Boomy just trying to run away from this pesky puck. Won't matter though, the top lane is now being pushed in by the Naga Siren. In fact, never mind, because Raven has gone to the mid lane. What is Raven up to?
He's hunting?
Hatsumi?
Is this... What is
The
this?
illusion. Not going to scan out Natsumi quite yet, though now he may have spotted him.
Oh.
Natsumi's very scared. The pings come out though, they know he's there.
Oh.
Raven, he doesn't walk in yet. Now he does. Uh-oh, there's a side device coming out with those illusions. Oh my.
Oh boy. Just like that.
Whew.
How do you fight against that? As a droid right now. Like, that is their safe lane core. Who is supposed to be carrying them, man. It's just not adding up. And he buys back, but nothing's happening anymore.
It's a weird buyback to make. So Roshan's going to be taken now by Geek Fam.
Oh.
Of course, there'll be absolutely no contestation. Geek Fam, who do you give the Aegis to? They'll give it to Ryoya. They don't even care for the cheese, but Zephyr will go pick it up. Got Knife Skadi now up on Ryoyo as well on that Razor, as well as a Satanic. 33k net worth lead for Geek Fam. Dota Plus has completely given up on Adroit. There's a 100% chance that Geek Fam win this game apparently.
That's a rarity. You rarely see 100%, but no takebacks here for Dota Plus. Better stick to that.
We'll see. Ryoyo just taking down the tier 3 top tower. It will go down. The repair kit doesn't do enough to heal it up. Now the range rack's easily taken by Ryoyo. Got the chrono, you've got to try and initiate on something here, but it's just hard to know what, especially when you don't have buyback available.
Radiant's top barracks has fallen.
So now one lane of racks left for Geek Fam. Split Earth will come out, Ryoyo. He does cop the hoof stomp, but look how tanky this man is. He just keeps going at that tier 3. Has the Aegis anyway, so he doesn't really care. Dubu gonna jump in with the Dream Coil, and he found 3 of them straight off the bat. Now Ryoyo comes in as well. Where's the damage? They have it on Natsumi. He's gone. That's a dieback on the Void. Boomy goes down as well. Now they clean up Mac on the Lesh, and the GG's already been called. There was just really no contestation from the side of Adroit. Now a song comes out. That'll be a 1-to-1 for either side.
What a match. Like, Adroit, they had a rough time this time around. Geek Fam just dominated. 8-34, 40k net worth lead. They did take their time in ending that game, I have to tell you. Like, I don't think... I think it could have ended much earlier, but it looks like Geek Fam just wanted to make sure it was a clean win. So they just took their time, and in the end, a win's a win. Doesn't really matter in the end.
Certainly so, John. Now, that'll be it for us tonight. Unfortunately, I've got some bad news. We won't be casting the last series because we do have to switch the stream over to EU. So I know a lot of people in the chat are probably going to be waiting for the TNC game. Unfortunately, we are going to have to switch to EU, so we're going to have to head off, John. I apologize for that inconvenience. Any last words before we head off?
No, hopefully everyone did enjoy. That was a lot of really good Southeast Asian Dota. If you want to see more, of course, I believe we will likely be back tomorrow, but I can't promise you that. Otherwise, if you enjoyed the cast, do feel free to follow us at JohnXFire and at MLP Dota on Twitter. And I guess that's it for tonight.
Yep, certainly is. We'll see you guys again tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in and enjoy some European Dota. See you guys next time.